one of the things I was concerned about with market research is whether or not people would do what they would say they were going to do. Is one thing to ask them, are you going to do this? And they would answer a particular way. But I was always thinking, well, just because they say they would do it or they say they have this preference, is that predictive? Can you actually sort of take that to the bank from a research perspective, or do you sort of have to realize that that's not a real life scenario that you've created for them?
Yeah, that's a, I was just going to say that's the $1 million question, and probably the one that we're the most passionate about answering. And before I answer how we do it, I think it's really important to look at example from culture. And my favorite example of this scenario, exactly as you described, is actually around the 2016 election. So when pollsters went out and they asked people, who are you going to vote for? That was the question. It was very square, very straight on, who are you going to vote for? And as we saw from the polls, the majority of people said Hillary Clinton, right? There's only one pollster, one, who thought, I'm going to ask, who are you going to vote for? And they asked, who is your neighbor going to vote for? And the who is your neighbor going to vote for largely projected Trump, right? And that's the human psychology element of, I'm not voting for him, but he might vote for him because, he's saying some things that I might agree with, right? So that's where, the cognitive behavioral therapy comes in, and a lot of those sort of techniques that we bring into our research, where we're thinking about, how do we ask this question that isn't just self-diagnose or, self sort of selection of like, this is what I'm going to do, but instead think about it in interesting ways so that we get to the root and we kind of dig a little under the surface. And are we being a little bit tricky? Maybe, yes. But one thing that I want to land on, and I think this is really important, by no means is our intention nefarious. By no means are we, quote unquote, being tricky to fool people or anything like that. Our mission for our company is to get to these insights, to get to what people actually need, even if it's unsaid or they don't even know they need it, so that companies can better serve them. So it's always actually in service of people that we are asking these questions in a more interesting way, in a way that's going to get to the root of what they're feeling, even if they don't know how to articulate it in a straight on question.